This is Season 4 of Flute Unscripted. Hi, I'm your host, Kaity Massoud, and I sit down with a new artist every week and share their stories with you. This podcast is brought to you by Flute Center of New York, the marketplace for flutes. Join us, subscribe, rate, and review us. Use this podcast promo code LISTEN for some special deals. Get $50 off any flute or accessory purchase of $4.99 or more, and 10% off any sheet music order, including free shipping on all orders over $50. Katie Althen, or Katie Flute if you follow her on Instagram, is an up-and-coming young flutist with big dreams and big talent. Katie grew up in Pennsylvania, and her unsuspecting parents, who enrolled her in different sports, dance, and music lessons, watched on as her passion for the flute and for sharing her gifts with others took over and led her to study at some of the top conservatories in the nation. Katie earned her bachelor's from New England Conservatory, completed her master's at Juilliard, and started a graduate performer's diploma at Peabody. Katie began to share her adventures on Instagram, and her following has naturally grown to staggering numbers over time. Finding her niche, Katie has been at the forefront of the social media flute community, and she's open and candid with her followers, sharing her practice flubs, her pop tune collaborations with friends and violinist boyfriend, and stories about her 19-year-old pet frog, Pickles. It is inspiring to see how Katie makes all styles of music, and especially classical music, accessible to all. Well, Katie, thank you for coming in to talk with me today.
Thanks for having me.
I'm a fan along with about, 30,000 followers that you
31.
have. 31. Damn. That's great. You have really changed, I think, the face of Instagram for flutists. You have a whole aesthetic and just almost a brand in a way. Was this something that was conscious from the beginning? How did it all get started, and did you just kind of fall into it?
Well, I was trying to think about this because I thought you might ask me.
Yeah, you knew I'd probably do this.
And I was trying to remember, and I even scrolled way back on my feed. I don't know. I think Instagram was really popular. Did it start in 2012? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But that's when I first got it, and back then it was just a haphazard, posting a photo of my meal, a photo of the sunset, And then I started posting more flute content just because that's what I was doing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got to Juilliard, I remember I posted a photo of the stand that said Juilliard with my flute next to it. And it just generated a ton of activity and response. And mostly people that's my dream. I want to go to Juilliard. Post a video. I want to hear you play. So, and then it just kind of went from there.
It just took off on its own.
And I was just maybe I'll see what happens if I continue to post stuff like this. And it was kind of an experiment in the beginning and almost like a game. I wonder how they'll respond to this post or how they'll respond to that.
I think that's maybe why it seems like you're so popular too, is because it's very organic and it seems very genuine. It's not something that seems forced or you're trying to force something down people's throats. It just seems it grew from your interests and people just took to you. Yeah. I think another really cool thing is that you seem very down to earth and self-deprecating. You're okay with making fun of yourself, which I think is great. And I think it's also very endearing and people love.
Yeah.
Is that also something that was... Did you want to put up walls at first when you were...
Maybe not at first, but then for a while, in the past several years, not I think I'm just starting to come out of it as I'm posting more again, but I started getting caught up in, is this not professional enough? Or I don't know. I've never been someone that really worries too much what other people think, but for some reason I just had this mental block, maybe this is not what a professional flutist should be doing, whatever that means. Yeah. And I'm trying to reinvent what that means for myself.
Right. Yeah. And balance it all too.
Yeah, because if I'm not being authentic, what's the point? It doesn't feel good for me, and I think other people can realize it.
Yeah,
when it's
for
not
sure.
Authentic. Yeah.
I think I read somewhere you were saying, speaking of being authentic, one of the biggest challenges in this field is being true to yourself and and your musical ideas in an environment that can feel kind of stifling. What do you mean by that? And do you think that Instagram then is a place for you to kind of just be yourself now and be authentic?
Yeah, I think so. And I think it can be whatever I make it. And if I make it that, that's the goal. But I don't know. At Juilliard, there's a lot of pressure to fit in, play a certain way. At least this is my experience. I know other people don't feel the same way. But just in general, in the music world, we're doing something highly competitive, and everyone has their ideas about how things should be. And when you're younger and you want to achieve something, that can weigh down on you, caring too much about what you think you should do. Almost
like it's stifling your creativity or what you think is possible. Speaking about school and going to Juilliard, I want to talk about all of your different teachers that you've had. You went to NEC for your bachelor's, Juilliard your master's, and you went to Peabody for a performer's diploma. You studied with 3 very different personalities, 3 very different kinds of players. In terms of their style and their careers, what big lessons did you take away from them?
Well, Paula, I love Paula so much. She's like everything to me. She's my role model in flute and in life, and I feel super, super fortunate that I got to study with her, especially at that age when, I don't know, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that I loved flute and I loved music. I was going to go to school for music. I didn't really have a bigger picture or plan. But my favorite thing to think about Paula is that her playing is so all-encompassing, and we would talk about art, like visual art, dance, theater, everything, song. So it was really just a giant fusion of all the arts.
Did she kind of incorporate, I know you have a background with ballet. Did she kind of encourage you to incorporate all of that?
She loved that. And she's actually coming to the city, and we might take class together.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, because she used to dance too. But she really encouraged me to keep that up, and I'm really glad, because I've had other teachers like in the past in high school that were kind of like, maybe you should give that up.
To focus on one thing solely?
Yeah. But I think that if I only focused on that one thing, it could have had a different result.
Yeah. Kind of makes you who you are, having different interests. What about your time with Robert?
I love Mr. Langevin. He taught me so much about technique, like everything I needed to know that I did not know, that I didn't even know I needed to know. And he has a technical solution to every problem. So if I'm like, Mr. Langevin, I don't know how to do this, he's like, well, did you try it this way? And he just knows how to fix everything.
Nothing's impossible.
Yeah, exactly. And that's really a great attitude, and I'd like to feel that way someday if I just keep practicing my scales like he's taught me. So and of course with the excerpts, he's the king of that. He knows it all. You
don't get much better than New York Phil principal flutist. And how about Marina?
I've known her I think I met her when I was a sophomore at NEC. She came to give a master class, and I was like, wow, I want to study with this woman someday. Like, I just knew that I had to. And I think she's kind of a fusion of the two. Like, she takes a lot of that creative musicality of Paula, and she combines it with the more technical side. So it was kind of a good way to finish my studies.
Right, and it's funny because it all comes together too.
Yeah.
Did you take a little break from Instagram at some point when you went to Peabody?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was commuting back and forth from New York to Baltimore, which was maybe an ambitious idea. Because I wanted to keep up with some of the freelance stuff I was doing, and I didn't want to give up my students, but I knew that I wanted more school. And I did not finish the diploma, actually. I did about a semester, or a year and a semester. But at that point, I think I was just like, I cannot continue this lifestyle.
The commuting and all of that, yeah. Did taking a break from everything kind of give you a renewed perspective then when you did come back?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And at that point, I think I was questioning a lot, like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I playing the flute? Why am I posting on social media? Like, what do I want in my life? What does music mean to me? And it just didn't feel authentic.
Do you have answers to those questions?
I do not. But I think that I'm becoming more content with not having the answers.
Yeah.
And figuring it out as I go. And realizing that a career today can mean so many different things, and it doesn't have to necessarily mean what it used to be.
Yeah, it's very different these days. And I think that's a hard thing too for people to let go of ideas and preconceived notions of what it should be. And especially when you have like these great teachers that are all fabulous, but it was a different time too, and they all have very similar like trajectories to their careers, and things are just very different these days. I think that's why you're very inspiring to me, because I see you can still be very passionate about playing and take it very seriously, and also have this other side to you that kind of plays with it, and you're creative, but you're not sacrificing anything else because of it. It's all just like feeding each other, which is nice. Do you still get to dance at all a little bit?
I do. I take class. I haven't been in a while, and it was really hard when I was going to Peabody because I just had no time. But yeah, I'm going to try to start taking class more often again, because it's like the one thing that makes me so happy.
In the spirit of informing her followers about the different options available to flutists, Katie works with Flute Center to record videos of herself playing on a variety of different instruments from different makers. Her effortless technique and beautiful sound come through regardless of the flute she plays, and yet Katie still has had to deal with her shares of negative critiques and harsh comments online. Over time, she's learned to brush them off and use recordings as a tool to improve. Perhaps most importantly, she's been able to do it all with a sense of humor and without taking herself too seriously. Another thing I've kind of been wondering about is, have you gotten more used to hearing yourself on recordings?
Oh my God.
Because you do that a lot. You record yourself quite a bit. Or is it easier now for you to let go of little things, or is there always that like nitpicking side?
I think there's always that nitpicking side, and it might be worse because the older I get, I think the more picky I become because I can just hear more things and I'm listening for more specific things. But it's definitely helped my playing, I think. I would like to think. Yeah. Because, I don't know, you can record something and something you've been working on for weeks, and then you're like, oh, duh, that was the thing. My finger is moving unevenly here, right. You know? So.
You're like your own teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
And you also, I'm sure everyone already knows, but disclaimer, you do a lot of stuff for Flute Center New York. You partner with us on a lot of things. So you try a lot of flutes all the time, too. Is there anything you've learned from trying like the gamut of flutes? Has it solidified for you that maybe your flute is like truly the one for you?
Well, back in the beginning, I felt that way. I was like trying, I don't know, 24 karat gold, Haynes and Powell, and then going back to my Muramatsu, I was always like, oh, I love this flute. But now I'm starting to think that maybe I would like a different flute down the line just to try something new. I've had it since my senior year of high school, which is a long time to be with one instrument and to go through a lot of changes in playing.
I think you have quite a passion for community outreach also. You talk about playing in church services growing up. You've played for injured runners after the Boston Marathon bombings. You've performed in assisted living facilities and schools in Boston. You were awarded the Juilliard Community Engagement Grant, which is amazing. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
You used that grant to perform in a local food bank in Pennsylvania, near where your parents are from? So why do you think service kind of goes hand in hand with the arts, and why is it so important to you? I
think from, like you said, like my first performance experiences were in my church growing up, and just seeing how that could impact someone's day, or I don't know, it was really striking to me, and I wanted to continue to be able to do that. And I think it's a gift to be able to touch someone in that way. Do you think that in general people should be incorporating service maybe more into their everyday lives? I think so, certainly, yeah. And I just feel very fortunate to have been able to come this far. And I think that musicians can have the reputation of being self-serving. Yeah. And I mean, we have to be
I know,
selfish.
yeah.
We have to, you know, lock ourselves in a practice room
Yeah.
for whatever, 4 or 5 hours a day. And we spend a lot of time with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that any chance that we can get back out into the community and give back is really rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know you're saying you're not really sure of what you want to do in the future. You're just kind of seeing where everything takes you. Do you have any dreams right now that might be flexible dreams, but things that are ideas of where you kind of want to go with everything?
Yeah. I played in a Broadway show for a while, and I really loved that.
Yeah, what show?
Actually, it was called Rocktopia.
Nice.
It was a fusion of classical and classic rock, which my middle school self, who was very snobby, probably would have been like, what is this? But it was actually a ton of fun, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. And it was nice to be able to have the day free, and then at night you go to work, you play the show. So I would not be opposed to doing something like that again. And I want to take some orchestra auditions. I think I'm always waiting until I feel ready, but I'm never going to feel ready, which I've been starting to learn. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I think I'm keeping my options open right now.
Do you love New York? Do you want to stay here for a while?
I love New York so much.
Yeah.
Like, I would die for this city. Yeah. That sounds dramatic, but I love New York. Like, I get on the subway and it's smelly and crowded, but I'm like, I love this city. Like, I just get so emotional. Yeah, my boyfriend recently moved to Pittsburgh because he got a job in the symphony there.
Congrats
so, yeah, I'm really proud of him. But, so that's going to be...
That's hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and we're going to have to see what happens. But I think that he does not have such a strong feeling about the city where he is. Like, he could be happy many places, but unfortunately
you have your heart set on
I
the
love
city.
New York. Yeah.
You two like to collaborate a lot together too. A lot of videos. Is that fun for you to play together?
It's really fun. I think.
Do you work well together, or do you get okay.
No, we work well together most of the time. Every once in a while, if he says something like, I think you're really sharp here, I kind of get slightly offended, but he's probably right.
Yeah.
No, but he's an amazing player, and he's a huge inspiration to me. So, we love working together. We're going to actually play a recital in Argentina in August. Great. Yeah.
So. I know you do like a lot of fun stuff together. Yeah. Do you ever play for each other things before, competitions or auditions to get feedback?
Yeah, like when he takes auditions, like
do you have to sit there and listen through the
No, I'm pretty strict, and I make him hand me the score, and I take notes, and yeah, it's like intense.
He's very lucky to have that,
and I put up like the screen that I use for YouTube recording, and I'm like, okay, stand by the screen.
That's great. I feel like everybody needs someone like that in their lives.
I should start charging. Yeah.
You should. I would hire you in a heartbeat. I also heard your frog, that was your pet, passed away recently.
He did pass away,
Sorry, you had him for a really long time.
I think he was 19 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any pets in your future?
Well, my parents have 2 puppies. They're not puppies anymore. They're like a year-old Jack Russell Terriers, and
so cute.
I'm obsessed with them. I want a dog so badly, but right now my lifestyle is not quite fit for that. But one day. Yeah.
And lastly, are there any, since you're such an inspiration to other people on Instagram and just in the flute community, is there anyone that is on Instagram, or I guess not, that's kind of your inspiration right now? Someone that you're really into at the moment?
I don't know. That's a really difficult question, because I feel like I admire so many people, and there's so much content out there now on Instagram that it's just hard to even know everything that's out there.
It's really grown into its own little community, also in the flute world. It's kind of
definitely. Yeah. I follow a lot of dancers, and I think that they inspire me the most. Not necessarily that it relates exactly to music, but in a way, definitely it does. Yeah, I think so. And anything like visual and visual art? I follow a lot of, I've been following this one woman lately. She makes like historical costumes. So she recreates like 18th century French costumes. Well, they're costumes now, but clothes back then, So I find stuff like that really fascinating. Cool. Yeah. Do you have to deal with any like
backlash from haters? Do you really get any negative
Oh yeah,
comments?
like this morning I woke up and I was like, let's check my YouTube comments, and and there's people that are like, oh, you sound good, but if you didn't move, you'd sound better. Yeah. Or have you ever realized that your right hand pinky is like blah? And I'm like, yeah, it's my pinky.
Yeah,
you know? I've been living with it my whole life. Yeah, so.
Just kind of let it go.
I try to, yeah, most of the time it's pretty easy just to let it go. And I just have a hard time imagining feeling awesome enough to leave comments like that on anyone's video. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are?
No, yeah. Like, I would never leave any comment like that. But
there's people
haters
out there.
Gonna hate.
They are. Just got to move on. Is there anything that you could envision yourself doing if you couldn't do music?
Well, if I was good enough, I would have wanted to be a dancer. Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say if you were good enough, is that really because
you're
missing something?
I missed some really important years of training because I was injured and I kind of didn't know if I wanted to continue. So that was unfortunate, but I think I always knew that music was the path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Katie, for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
Thanks.
Katie has chosen the path of music for her career, and she does draw inspiration from all different art forms and mediums, which is perhaps what continues to make her so multifaceted and interesting to follow on social media. This translates into her idea for a full career as well. She envisions one that combines chamber music, solo work, teaching, and outreach. And we certainly will continue to follow her on her journey and wish her all the best. Thanks again to Katie Althen for the interview. In this episode, she plays the Forêt Pavane arranged for alto flute and violin, Copland Duo Movement 1, and Chaminade Concertino. This has been an episode of Flute Unscripted. This podcast is sponsored by the Flute Center of New York. Visit our website at flutesforsale.com for the largest selection of new and pre-owned instruments. Remember to use this podcast promo code LISTEN for discounts on flutes and sheet music. Special thanks to our owner Phil Unger, the Flute Center team, and Stefan Huskoldson for our theme music.